I've negotiated millions of dollars of deals, and there are at least 3 things you need to know in order to be successful in your next negotiation. And I'm going to talk at the end about the one question that will sink any negotiation you ever try to attempt. And I'll tell you a story because I learned that the hard way. So with that, let's get into it. The first thing that you need to have is your goal. And I'm not just talking about the monetary goal. A lot of people make this mistake. The whole idea is that you need to get a multifaceted goal. So if you're negotiating a job, what are the kinds of benefits that you want as well as a salary? If you're looking to buy a house, well, what are the kinds of repairs that you want done in addition to the price that you're trying to get? If you're trying to negotiate a contract, what are the contract terms or the deliverables that you want to make sure are in there so that you can get the best offer possible? And the cool thing about a multifaceted goal is that that gives you a lot of different levers to pull in your negotiation. The second thing you need to know is the BATNA, and that stands for Best Alternative to the Negotiated Offer. What does that mean in English? Really, you need to know what you're up against. If you're the best thing that the other party has on the table, then that means you have a lot of power in this situation. Now, if you're one of many people who can offer what you're trying to negotiate, then that does lower your power a bit, but it's really important to make sure that you are prepared to make sure that you are coming up with the deal to win. The last thing is going to help you know exactly when to walk away from negotiation. This is called a reservation point. Think of this as the worst deal you are willing to accept. If the other party comes back with their final offer that is under your reservation point, that is your cue to bounce. And I mean it too. This is something that you have to spend a lot of time up front so that you know what that number is, because you can't change it in the middle of the negotiation. I don't care how scary it gets. If it's below your reservation point, you will not take it, because no deal is better than the deal under your reservation point. These 3 things work together, right? So you have your BATNA, so you know what you're working up against, and you know how to anticipate some of the difficulties or maybe the questions that might come up. You have the goal and the reservation point, and here's the thing, you want to make sure that your offer is negotiating around the goal side of your spectrum, not the reservation point. If you're starting at your reservation point, there's nowhere to go but down from that, and that's not good. The best position you can be in is toward your biggest, most ambitious goal. There's going to be some room for you to make concessions in order to get to something that is optimized for both parties. That's a key thing to remember for negotiations, especially if there's a relationship involved. The best outcome is one that's mutually beneficial and above your reservation point, ideally closest to your goal. So now that we've talked about the 3 key things you need for your negotiation, let's talk about the one question that can sink it all. I was negotiating my first job offer at a corporate job, and I was super excited. It's something I had worked for all of my college career. And once I got that offer, I was elated. So when HR called me to tell me my terms, I made a terrible mistake. I asked, "Is the salary negotiable?" Well, the HR representative basically told me that there are people lining up around the block for this job, so if I don't want it, I can kick rocks. And that scared me so much I took it on the spot. Later, I found out that their second choice had a salary ask $10,000 more than me. So I did have room to negotiate because I was their first choice, number 1. And number 2, I probably only would have gotten probably $5,000 more, but that's $5,000 more for me, for my first job, and pennies for the company. Look, I know how daunting it could be to negotiate and navigate your career, especially early on. That's why I created these videos to help you build your confidence.